Alright, so today we're going to look at adding integers. We're going to start with a really simple problem, only because it's going to set us up nicely. We're going to just take 3 plus 5. Alright, a problem immediately in your head we all know is equal to 8. But just want to go back and demonstrate when you were first taught addition, because we're going to kind of go back to the basics here. When you were first taught addition, what you probably did to figure this out before you got really good at mental math here was you modeled each of these numbers sort of with some sort of representation. So you may have said that positive 3 you represented with 3 chips or 3 little marbles or whatever. So I'm going to put, since it's positive 3, 3 little plus signs here to represent we have 3 positive valued things. So $3 bills, 3 $1 bills, or what have you. We add to that an additional 5. Again, it's positive in value. That's what makes this problem so easy here. So we gain 5 more things. When we're talking about addition, we're talking about the sum, the total. So in total here, we have 8 positive value items. So it could be 8 $1 bills, our value, or is equal to positive 8. When we get into the negative side of the number line, right, we look at negative integers. Not much different. We have negative 2 plus negative 7. And in this instance here, just so you know, I'm putting that negative 7 in parentheses only to accentuate or highlight the fact that it's negative so that we don't get confused and think we're looking at a subtraction problem here. So we have negative 2. This time I'm going to represent that or model that instead of with plus signs. Since it's negative, I'm going to use 2 negative signs. So I have 2 negative values. And when we think about negative values, you can think about negative temperature, or I like to typically think of owing money, right? Having a debt. So in this instance, I owe somebody $2, right? I owe somebody else $7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what do we have here in total? Well, I owe a total of $9, right? I have a total debt here of 9, but it's negative 9. Okay, so our value here, negative 2 plus negative 7, is equal to negative 9. Again, negatives, adding a negative to a negative is not too difficult because it's very similar to adding two positives. You just get a negative solution. Where it can get a little tricky is when we're adding a negative integer and a positive integer. So let's look at our next problem here. Negative 11 plus 3. So again, let's represent this sort of pictorially. So we have 11 negatives. I owe somebody $11. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. But, I'm walking down the street and I see on the side of the road 3 $1 bills. Okay, fell out of somebody's pocket. Fortunate for them, but good for me, because now I picked up those 3 $1 bills. And what I can do now is go back to my friend that I borrowed borrowed $11. I have this debt of 11, and I can start to pay him back, right? Obviously, I can't pay him back entirely. So the next thing we're going to talk about here, and a really important concept to adding integers, is what we call a zero pair. Okay, a zero pair is just essentially one positive and one negative. If you think about it, if I hand you a dollar bill, you've gained $1. If I turn around and take it right back from you, okay, this negative, reduced it by 1 or taken away $1, you're basically left with nothing, right? Exactly what you started with. So we're going to think of this idea of a positive and a negative combined as just canceling each other out. It's a zero pair, okay? So if we go back to this problem here, you'll notice that this negative with this positive, that forms a zero pair. This positive is able to cancel out $1 worth of our debt. So that goes away, it cancels out. All right, I can form another zero pair right here with one negative and one positive. This positive allows me to cancel out $1 worth of debt. And then lastly, this last dollar that I found enables me to cancel out one more dollar of debt. So all of this right here is just equal to 0. Now, I haven't paid off my debt entirely. As you can see over here, I still have some negative values. So what am I left with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, and those are negatives, so negative 8. I still owe my friend $8. I haven't paid off my debt entirely, but I'm working towards it. Okay, let's look at one more together, and then I'll have you guys try 2 on your own. So we have 6 plus negative 2. So I've got $6. I got my allowance this week. I got $6 in my pocket. going to go to the store and buy something maybe, okay? But then all of a sudden I'm walking the store, pass by my friend's house, and realize, oh, I owed him $2. He borrowed me $2 to buy something at the store yesterday. So on my way to the candy store, I'm going to stop by and I'm going to pay off this debt, right? So I had $6. I have to pay off this debt now. I'm combining this. I'm saying, okay, well, what do we have left after we combine this? So one positive here will cancel out $1 worth of debt, and then another positive cancels out another $1 worth of debt. So you'll notice I've run out of negatives first. Once you run out of one or the other, you're essentially done. You count up what you have remaining. Okay, after I pay back those $2 of debt, I only have $4 left now that I can go to the store and spend. Okay, so we have positive 4 as our solution. I'm going to put 2 problems up here for you guys to do as a check understanding. And then what you can do is do these 2 problems. Well, pause the video to do these 2 problems. And then when you're done with them, you can unpause it, hit play, and I will come back and we'll explain how to do these 2 problems. So again, try these 2 problems on your own now, pause it, and then when you're finished, hit play again, and you can see how to solve these. Alright, so again, I'm going to start by representing or modeling this pictorially. So we have 8 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, my friend, $8. I get my allowance this week, $5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I combined sort of my debt with my allowance. What I'm able to do is I'm able to take $1 and cancel out $1 worth of debt, create a 0 pair. Take another $1 of debt, cancel it out with another $1 of my allowance, and I just keep going through making 0 pairs until, unfortunately, I ran out of, this is canceled out, I've run out of my allowance, but the good news is I don't owe my friend quite as much anymore. Now I only owe him $3. So I've paid back $5 of debt, I still owe $3. My sum here is negative 3. Lastly, we have positive 4 and negative 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you stop right here for a second, right, obviously we know that in this process, all that's going to go away. Those 4 positive, those 4 negatives cancel out. So you kind of, whichever one you have less of, right here I have less positives than negatives, I know I'm going to run out of those positives first. Okay, and what that's going to do is it's going to lower, if you will, the amount of negative debt that I owe. So we'll continue putting in our 13 negatives. So I have 4 here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so here's our 13 negatives, our 4 positives. Those 4 positives canceled out $4 worth of debt, so that's all equal to 0, but I still have some debt down here, a total of 9, so 9 negative 9 is our solution.